Hey guys, today I'll be talking about mental health problems and illnesses in Australia. I will be breaking mental illness down by the nature of mental health problems, extent in Australia, factors, groups at risk, cost, existing prevention and intervention, and a new idea. So let's get into it. Holistically, a mental health problem can be defined as a clinically diagnosable disorder that significantly interacts with an individual's cognitive, emotional, or social abilities. This refers to many illnesses, so in this video, we'll just focus on two mental health illnesses that are very prevalent in Australia's society: depression and anxiety. Depression is one of the most common mental illness and is something that many people suffer from in their lives. It is described as a persistent sadness and lack of interest in previously enjoyable activities. This can range from mild to major depending on numerous factors. Anxiety is ongoing fears that cause distress and stops you from doing things that you want to do and should be doing. Anxiety disorders include excessive, uncontrollable worry about everyday issues such as health, work, or finances. If mental health problems and illnesses are not treated, it may lead to suicide, self harm, and substance abuse. Mental health problems and illnesses are very common in Australia, with an estimated over 2 in 5 people aged 16 to 85 will experience a mental health disorder. Due to the stigma surrounding mental health problems, the data likely underestimates its prevalence in Australia's society. According to the ABS 2018 report on mental health, it is estimated that 20% of Australians have a mental health disorder, which is an increase from 18% in 2014. This is a 2% increase in incidence, which shows the extent of this chronic illness and how it impacts Australia as it affects individuals, families, and communities. This is specifically evident in depression, anxiety, and dementia. In 2017 to 2018, 10.4% of Australia's population had depression or feelings of depression, compared to 8.9% in 2014 to 2015, showing the increase in incidence. Females had an overall higher rate of depression than males, 11.6% and 9.1% respectively, seen on the graph. This may be due to more regular hormone fluctuations females experience. In 2017 to 2018, 13% of Australia's population had an anxiety-related condition, an increase from 11% in 2014 to 2015, evident on the graph. Females had an anxiety-related condition at 1.5 times the rate of males. The increase of rates of anxiety-related conditions was predominantly in the younger age groups. This is demonstrated in the 15 to 24 age bracket, as there was a 5.7% increase in females in conjunction with males, almost doubled, from 7.9% to 13.9%. Anxiety and depression commonly occur together, with around 6.1% of Australians having both an anxiety-related condition and depression, which is an increase from 2014 to 2015 by 5%. Both depression and anxiety have arguably increased in the event of COVID-19 pandemic due to the psychological distress it has caused. Mental health issues were exacerbated by social isolation, unemployment, remote working, and learning. While there was not many long-term mental health illnesses, many individuals experienced a 12-month mental health problem. This is demonstrated on the graphs. 1 in 5 people had a 12-month mental health disorder. 16.8% had anxiety, 7.5% had an affective disorder, which includes depressive episodes. The determinants of health and risk factors can cause mental health problems and illnesses which influence the groups at risk. The sociocultural determinant explores how family, peers, and culture impact an individual's risk of having mental health problems. Families are integral in a child's development. If the family has a more hostile environment, a child is more prone to mental health problems due to the lack of healthy attention and clear discipline. However, there are familial factors that cannot be changed, such as the genetic history of mental health illness. Peers also influence the risk of mental health problems through the pressure of substance abuse leading to anxiety and depression. If an individual has social turbulence from a traumatic life experience, they are more likely to be bullied and become excluded. This leads to isolation and depression. Culturally, AT3 people are more at risk of suicide and depression due to high levels of drug and alcohol abuse compared to other Australians, reflective of the historical racism segregation in the colonisation of Australia. People with a lower socioeconomic background or the unemployed have higher rates of mental health problems as they tend to engage in more substance abuse. Related to the increased financial stress and lack of health literacy, they are less aware of the healthier options, and even if they are, fresh fruit and vegetables are more expensive. This ongoing cycle can be hard for an individual to break. Environmental determinants affect mental health, including geographical location and the limited access to health services and technology. For example, rural and remote young males are 1.3 to 2.6 times at risk of suicide than urban, because they have less access to support services and fewer job prospects. They are more prone to risk taking behaviors such as alcohol and illicit drugs, altering the brain chemistry. This also affects their mental health as they are more isolated from the rest of the population. The costs that are associated with mental health problems can be divided into direct and indirect costs. Direct costs include the money spent on diagnosing, treating, and caring for the sick, as well as the money spent on prevention. Examples of this is the benefits paid by private health insurance for in-hospital mental health care claims, totaled at $628 million, a 3.4% increase on the previous year in 2019 to 2020. Indirect costs include the value of output lost when people become unable to work due to their mental health illness. This means that employers would have to retrain workers. An economic indirect cost for the government includes Medicare subsidies. In 2017, 2.3 million people received mental health care Medicare subsidies, compared to 1.6 million in 2011 to 2012. This trend of subsidies is increasing, showing the economic cost it places on the community to pay more tax. These costs can be reduced through forms of prevention and early intervention. Prevention refers to the services and programs that are undertaken to reduce the risk of developing a mental health problem by building protective factors. Mental health protective factors are influenced by individuals, family, peers, school, community, and government. Individual protective factors are associated with one's perspective and self awareness. These include easygoing attitude, competence to regulate emotions, resilient, and a good problem solver. Peers need to be a positive role model, supportive, and respectful. Families, schools, and communities need to be supportive and to be able to provide opportunities for the individual. An example of this is the 2005 legislation requiring all primary and middle school students to have 2 hours minimum of physical activity, promoting an equitable prevention strategy across the state. However, it is not mental health specific. A more specific campaign is the Australian government attempting to remove the cost and stigma of mental health through campaigns such as Are You OK Day? This encourages people to check up on their friends and family. This prevention strategy is more targeted, however, requires the reliance of individuals to take initiative. This is also seen as a form of early intervention. Early intervention is the services and programs that are designed to support people who show signs of needing assistance which may develop into greater mental health problems. Forms of early intervention include therapy, medications, and charity mental health services. Therapy is an effective form of early intervention as well as a long-term solution, as 75% of people obtain benefits from going. However, it can be financially burdensome, hence not accessible for all. Medication also is costly, temporary, and individuals may not like the side effects. A free option would be to call free counseling services such as Lifeline or Beyond Blue. However, it is less effective than the other two options due to the distant nature of a phone call. A prevention and intervention idea that I would implement to lower the current numbers of mental health illness and lower the costs spent on treatments by directing these costs to prevention would be to have a state compulsory mental health day to spread awareness. This will be part of the curriculum and will have activities targeting the youth as they have the highest prevalence of depression and anxiety. The idea includes recreational activities in a station fashion of sports of the school's choice, board games, petting animals, mindfulness art. These range of activities can be tailored to the size of the school, allowing the individual to reflect on their own and their peers' mental health. The activities such as the board games, petting animals, and mindfulness art will be funded by the government budget. These activities promote good mental health interactions whilst giving students a wider range of interests to choose from. For example, an individual may like petting animals, which increases the level of oxytocin, opposed to playing sports, which increases dopamine levels, both positive mental health effects. The government will direct funds in employing mental health speakers across the state in close connection with charities such as Lifeline and Beyond Blue. This will create jobs and will bring a greater awareness to mental health. This will also be equitable in schools in the lower socioeconomic areas as they receive mental health speakers at no cost. It also targets a larger demographic across the state, promoting diversity. By doing this statewide on the same day in school allows a large population to relate and hopefully talk about it, hence creating a supportive environment. This rapidly spreads awareness through an enjoyable medium. The government can also tailor the employment of speakers specifically to all boys' schools to target young males without a father figure, promoting their mentorship to stay away from drugs and criminal activity, leading to mental health problems. Schools can also implement their other initiatives that benefit the schools, such as complimentary mufti days, music performances, and barbecues, anything to bring people together. Furthermore, this initiative will be effective due to the success of similar campaigns such as Are You OK Day. However, this involves more people, hence gaining more traction within the community and hopefully a better result.